Hi everybody, I'm Ben Burton. Welcome to another issue of Guild Watch, bringing you the 411 on Charlotte's gaming fandom community. Today I'm with Ron McClung of Con Carolinas. Ron, thanks for meeting with me.
Thanks.
For our longtime Guild fans, you may recognize Ron as one of our Guild founders. Founding members, I should say. And a two-time Guild president, which is an accomplishment. Something to put on a resume.
Not anymore. No. I was Guild president for actually 4 years.
Great, man. Let's talk a little bit about you first. How did you get into the fandom, science fiction, and gaming, man?
I mean, that's a relative question. I mean, my fandom started back when I was a kid, with Godzilla and all the cool stuff, and the tipping point was Star Wars, and I was sold. Getting into the fandom, convention, fun stuff really started with the Guild. And the first year I was with the Guild, we went to Magnum Opus Con in Greenville, and then Dragon Con the following year. 90 and 91, somewhere in there. No, sorry, 89 and 90.
That's back when Dragon Con itself was just getting started.
Baby. But they still had like 11 or 2,000 people, sometimes maybe closer to 5,000 people. They just hit the right moment, right time, and they had first year 1,000 people. And when I hit those cons, man, it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Just 1,000 people together that you could share the same kind of stuff. The stuff that you share with normal people, that you just get that blank stare and they just go on to the next subject.
Kind of with your own people, man.
Yeah, you're in the zone.
The tribe.
Yeah. It was cool. So I went to a lot of cons. Didn't get into running them. I volunteered for a couple. Volunteered for Rock of Ages. Volunteered for Mace before I took over gaming, and then it all kind of came together about 2000. I started doing conventions.
How did Con Carolinas come up?
I started, Con Carolinas started in 2000. The work for Con Carolinas started in the year 2000 by a couple of guys, Kelly Lockhart and Irv Coach, who passed away a few years ago. We're dedicating this year the Con Carolinas to Irv Coach and another guy, Brian Burley, who also passed away the same year. They were working to develop a convention in Charlotte to host WorldCon or NASFIC or something like that in Charlotte, and they had bids ready, and they were going to go for that. They were raising money. They raised a bunch of money to pay for it, which is definitely the smart way of doing it. Have a cache of money to do it. And their WorldCon and NASFIC bid actually failed, but their efforts weren't to naught because Con Carolinas came out of it, which was quite awesome.
Con Carolinas, I've noticed every year it just gets bigger, more massive, man. There's more going on. I remember my first Con Carolina was back in 2002, and ever since then, man, it's always something more being added on. It's like its own entity now. It's just growing, man.
We've been working hard to make sure that, number one, people know about it. Number two, that we have something for them, and we know where our strengths are, and we know where our weaknesses are. And like, for instance, that we are 2 weeks or a week after Animazement.
Mm-hmm.
We don't make anime a cornerstone. We want anime to come, but we recognize the fact that we can't compete with animation.
Yeah.
There's just no way. We don't abandon anime at all. We love having it, but it's just a weakness that we can't overcome. And the same case with Heroes Con. We don't have a lot of comics because you can get that there.
Yeah.
And this year being the same weekend, we focus on our strengths.
On the sci-fi.
And the sci-fi and the gaming and then costuming.
Do you know where those...
We basically have three legs of a stool. Gaming, literary and media.
Yeah. And this year's media guest is Richard Hatch, man.
That's Richard Hatch.
Wow, dude, someone I've heard of.
What, 5th trip to the Carolinas since I've known that he was in the circuit. And then Claudia Christian's coming, and Bill Blair. And we got a guy coming because he's promoting a movie that he did, a little independent movie called Exhibit A7. It's kind of a horror film. It's all speculative fiction as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
And his name is Robert Pralgo.
Really?
And he is from Vampire Diaries.
Yeah, man.
He plays the mayor of the little town.
Familiar Vampire Diaries, yeah.
And I just started catching pieces of it, bits and pieces of it, just because of him. And he lives down in Atlanta and said he'd come up and promote the movie. I was like,
it's cool, man.
Do it.
I remember a few years back, man, we were doing the Devil's Rejects pre-screen and I ran into Rob Zombie, so I mean,
it's
one of my weird Con Carolina memories.
I don't remember him actually coming. I think you were probably talking about Ken Foray.
Ken Foray?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
He was in that.
I may have failed the nerd lower role. What's the single hardest thing about putting forth for convention?
Well, I mean, if I talk to you, talk to anybody, listen to this, the biggest thing is money. We happen to have some guys that put together a good cache of money and let us use that to at least get it started. And then the first year we had a lot of money come out of that, put it in the bank, and it just kind of grew from there. If you've got the money, it's herding cats after that. It's getting the right people in the right spots and allowing them to do the job while dealing with real life, because they know that the con is out of it's a labor of love. There's no other way.
What's the most rewarding thing that comes out of it, though?
The reason I do it, I love seeing a room full of people, either in a panel or in a gaming room, and just having fun. And the end result is just that feeling of exhaustion. And if you're not exhausted at the end of a convention, you've done something wrong.
Yeah. What's been your favorite Con Carolina memory or moment, other than getting kissed on stage?
I knew you were going there. I got a lot, and it's all kind of a blur.
Kane Hodder singing Klingon karaoke.
That was funny. That was a classic. Oh my gosh!
Still haunts my nightmares.
I don't have any. There's just so many.
There's no one.
There's no one that stands out. I think really last year was probably my best memory. I think that was picked
moved to the new hotel here.
Moved to the new hotel. I've known about this hotel since I've been here, since
gorgeous,
'87.
You know,
and I've been dying to run a convention out of this hotel.
We got close to about 1,000 last year.
Yeah.
What are we looking at this year?
We had just over 1,000 last year, like 1,015 or something. This year, because we have Deep South Con, we're probably going to get about 1,100, 1,200 if all indications stay the same. And right now that's showing. We've never sold out of our room block this early, and we've already gone over it and over our next contract, which when you sign a contract, you usually end up getting a bigger block and more requirement. We hit those numbers easy.
Final question. We're just going to throw one randomly out here. If two directors were to get into a fight, and it was George Lucas or Michael Bay with Sharp Objects, who would you hope would be the only one to walk out of the line?
Michael Bay, because I think George Lucas is an idiot. I know that's blasphemy, but I have a deep, dark hatred right now for him. He destroyed my childhood.
That's all we've got time for now for Guild Watch and Ron's therapy session. Ron, thanks again for talking with me, man.
No problem.
Tune in next time, guys.
Well, you can throw in a couple cuts of that Guild movie of me and my mullet.